guys. It's Tuesday night, about 8:30, and excuse me, sitting here watching the Warriors and uh, Rockets. I can't remember who they were playing. Anyway, people were kind of wondering how I was doing, and so I figured I'd get a lot of coughing today. Figured I'd do a short video, and or at least intended to be short. Kind of letting you know what's going on, where I'm at, and all that. Well, I'm going to have to take a double dose of my Lasix tomorrow and see if I can get rid of this cough. Anyway, I'm back home. I'm at right now at a motel in Ontario, Oregon, which is right across the river. I apologize. I can't help it. Right across the river from Payette. I'm only like a couple of miles from my sister's place. And so, anyway, back home, I guess you'd call it, even though I don't really have a home right now. I have spent the last week at at the heart hospital in Boise, which they did me a lot of good. They really did. I even though even though I have this cough today, the way I feel overall, 100% better. I mean, I can walk. I don't have to stop every few feet and, like I was before. And, people criticize me for criticizing the hospital in Kanab, but they didn't do their job. I mean, I was home. Basically, I was only home a day, and I was really, really bad. I could only take a few steps without having to stop and, puff and puff. And it was not good. And so my sister's like, you need to go to the ER. You need to go to the ER. So I did. Went to the ER here at the hospital in Ontario. They checked me out. The one doctor, who was not a cardiologist, thought maybe that one of my stents, because I've got 2 stents in there now, thought that maybe one of my stents had failed. And so he was a little concerned about that, so they did some tests on me and stuff like that. And they ended up transferring me to the cardiac unit in Boise. And I was there for about a week. And I will have to say, I don't think I have ever had a better hospital experience than I had there. Those most wonderful people, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how good they were. They stayed on top of everything. They checked on me constantly. They had people stopping by, checking on me for other things too, making sure that I was, mentally okay and, wasn't depressed and whatever. All the basic stuff that hospitals, At least competent hospitals normally do. And if anything else, all it did was show me how absurd the hospital there in Canabo is. So you can criticize me all you want, saying I don't have anything good to say about anybody. But I've been through this rodeo enough. I know what should be done. I know my body. I know the routine. I know what should be done. And the one thing that I just discovered a long time ago, there's a big difference between telling a doctor, just a regular family practice medical doctor, or even an ER doctor, telling them something and telling the cardiologist something. Because I don't know how he did it, but this one cardiologist came in, he had an intern with him, and he told me to turn my neck like this. And somehow he was able to look at my neck and tell how much fluid I had. Because I turn my neck like this, and he tells the intern, he says, yeah, he's full of fluid. I don't know how. Be interesting to know. But, he knew that I knew what I was talking about. Because I told him, I said, I've been through this before. I know the symptoms and blah, blah, blah. So they put me in the hospital. They admitted me. And it was nice because he transported me over to Boise from Ontario, which is about 60 miles, roughly 50, 60 miles. And then they provided me a ride back to my sister's place, which was really nice. So I can't speak highly enough about the hospital there in Boise. And I've been to hospitals in Texas, in Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and I think in Montana. And I have to say that the treatment that I got in Boise and the attention to detail and making sure that I was always comfortable and okay, and and even if I got hungry, they'd come in there and they'd say, "You okay? You need anything? Any snack or anything?" And of course, I never turned down food, especially since I hadn't had an appetite. So finally, I got my appetite back, and I was like, har, har, har. So like even now, it's like my appetite's back. But like I say, tomorrow I need to spend the day taking extra Lasix and basically spending the day peeing, getting rid of excess water because I've still got that cough, and I know when I get the cough that I've still got water to lose. So, but they took off like 20 pounds just the fluid, because I went in at, I don't remember what it was that I went in, but the doctor's goal was to take off 20 pounds, and that's what we did. I'm still a little heavy, um, just according to the scale. So I've got some more to lose, which I can do with my Lasix. So like I said, tomorrow that's my project for the day, is trying to get rid of as much fluid as I can, and just keep doing that. Basically, what they wanted to do was get me to the point where I could do the rest of the things that they needed me to do at home. And then today, my former doctor's office in Payette called me, checking on me, and because they said that they wanted to check, since I'd gotten out of the hospital and blah, blah, blah. And they wanted to set me up an appointment with Andy, my doctor there. So they said that they would have somebody call me. If not, I'll call them and set it up, because that's something I wanted to do. They wanted me to see my PCP within a week. So if I don't get a call from them by tomorrow afternoon, I'll call them myself and set it up. And then I've got another follow up call on the first with the I don't know if it's a doctor or a follow up nurse or who it is in Boise. Supposed to call me around 2:15 or whatever it is. So that's where I am right now. Like I say, I'm in a motel. I'm going to be looking for a place to camp here in the next few days. Because I think I'm probably back to being able to like set up my tent and stuff like that, which is something I could not have done when I first got back. So hope I'm making sense. I am really, really tired. I'm just about ready to hit the sack because I've been going to bed around 9 o'clock, so it's probably quarter till. so so anyway, that's the story for now, and I'll keep you updated. You know, with whatever else that I decide to do. I don't. I don't know if I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to go back to Arizona or not. Um, I was originally when I started heading up this direction, I was planning on going back there. But after being back here, um, this is where I grew up, and it was kind of cool being back around everything that I recognized and being around family and friends, which I like that. I like having that support, and so I may decide to stay here, and hopefully I can find a place to live around here. I didn't have any luck before, obviously, but I haven't had any luck anywhere else either, other than finding that room in Gilbert, which is way overpriced. So, but I'll check Boise, see if there's any like room for rents. There was one I applied for in Meridian, which is a suburb just outside Boise, but I haven't heard anything back on that, so I probably won't. I would have probably heard by now, but I did apply for it. But so if when I find something around Boise, Nampa, Caldwell, or even find something around here, that'd be fine. You know, but it'd be kind of. I've lived in Boise before. I really liked Boise. It's grown a lot since then, though. It's probably quadrupled in population. So maybe I'll stay around here. It just kind of depends. I'd be willing to take whatever I can find. It happens to be Boise, if it happens to be Caldwell, Nampa, Payette, Weezer, wherever it is, whatever I can find, I would be happy to accept. So anyway, that's where I am right now. Um, I need to get some medications filled, and I'm probably going to have to do something with my insurance because it's it's basically Arizona insurance, and everything here is out of network. So I'm going to have to get a hold of like a Medicare expert or whatever, and just like I did there, and see. The only problem is I don't have a permanent address. So, but not. So I don't know if I can like legally be. Even though my driver's license is Idaho, my vehicle's registered in Idaho. I don't know. Um, we'll just see. We'll just see how it turns out and see what it is I have to do to try to get insurance. I did have Blue Cross of Idaho, but as soon as they found out I was in Arizona, they cut that off. So, and Arizona may do the same thing to me once they learn I'm here. But we'll see. I'll get a hold of somebody and because I don't know. I like Arizona, but the thing is, it's like you get so freaking hot. It's like when I left Lake Havasu City, it was already like 104, 103, 104. And here it was 70. So it's like I like Arizona, but you got to take off. Because I don't have anywhere to stay that has air conditioning or whatever. So it's like as soon as it starts getting up around 100, I got to get out of there, find somewhere new. That's why I decided to start heading north. I wasn't planning to get here this quickly, but it just kind of, I don't know, I guess I got impatient and I just wanted to get home as quickly as possible. Figured I'll already go ahead and get there, and that way, I've got my class reunion coming up on the 15th, and already be here and not have to worry about traveling anymore. So, and that's kind of another reason I wouldn't mind staying is because having to travel all the time, it gets old and it gets tiring. Weird. Some weird sound. There it goes again. Somebody else is dinking around. Probably kids. Anyway, you can probably tell I'm just about out of it. I'm pooped. I'm really really tired. So I'm gonna get this uploaded and get you guys updated so you know what's going on with me. And other than that, I really don't have anything to tell you. It was pretty basic, but I had, like I said, it was just wonderful. The hospital there, people were awesome. The nicest group of people I've ever been around, medical people. I mean, generally there's one or two that's kind of, it was none. Everybody was. You can tell whoever runs that operation is knows what they're doing because they really make you feel special. They really do, and they helped me a lot. So hopefully I don't end up back in the hospital. But like the doctor said, like I told him, I said my body kind of goes in cycles to where it gets to the point where my regular oral meds don't get rid of the fluid. And he actually said that was normal. He says, yeah, your body kind of goes along, and then all of a sudden you need those IVs. That's been the story. That's kind of been the pattern with this is that I'll be doing good for a while, and then I start gaining a bunch of water weight, and I get to the point where I can't hardly move, I can't function. End up having to go back in and have them give me IVs and get rid of the fluid, and that's kind of been a constant thing. Usually it's every like couple of years, but lately it's been like that's like once, twice, three times. That's like four times since I moved to Gilbert. So that's what last June. You know, and so yeah, it's getting more frequent. That I have to go in and do that. But You do what you have to do. Either that or ignore it and die. Because that's exactly what would happen if I did ignore it and just let it go. So anyway, shall bid you adieu, and hope you enjoyed the video. And like I say, I don't really have a lot to tell you other than just update you on what's been going on. So we shall catch you later.